A month later, on July 28, 2023, I received a Proton Mail quote, "Linda, there has been a large posting on the ATS Above Top Secret website backing up David Grush's statements and claims. Then it was put on Reddit in the early morning of July 28, 2023, before it was taken down only 3 hours later. I got these screenshots before it was gone," close quote. Here's Reddit at 1:21 a.m. on July 28, 2023, where the red arrow is. Quote, "This is a comment on a YouTube video that was recently uploaded by a body language analyst looking for anomalies in David Grush's recent interview. The comment has since been deleted, but I did the service of collecting screenshots because I knew it wouldn't stay up. Many online sleuths believe the comment to have been made by Major General John A. Allen Jr., a U.S. Air Force Major General who serves as commander of the Air Force Installation and Mission Support Center in San Antonio, Texas. The Mission Support Center's job is, quote, to ensure the Air Force and Space Force have the capable power projection platforms they need to execute their missions," close quote. I am sharing this content with you tonight without knowing for certain it's General Allen who did the Reddit posting. But here is the first of a series of 16 paragraphs on 8 black and white screenshots that were briefly posted in the Reddit comments by a J. Allen after midnight on July 28, 2023, and taken down only 3 hours later. The Reddit comments begin, quote, "As a current aero engineer for the U.S. Air Force, 26 years and still going, I can help you decode at least some of this. First, I know that Grush has only limited ability to talk about this subject. He did get clearance to speak to a certain extent, but he must withhold quite a bit in order to avoid very serious law violations. So expect him to be holding back some things he could say, and this also necessitates rephrasing on the fly language that he would normally use. Second, this retrieval program is real and is the most highly classified program in the United States. The program is called Zodiac, and this may or may not come out in the public hearing soon. Take this in when viewing this man's speech, meaning Grush. He is trying to talk to us about the most highly classified project in the world. People have historically died, lost careers, lost family due to this secret. So to say this is stressful to talk about would be an understatement. Third, when Grush shook his head, talking about the spacecraft and alien, it's because we don't really think this is what they are. But this term is in common use publicly and is as close as we can describe the phenomena to the general public and be understood. These are much more than spacecraft. They are transmedium interdimensional craft, to the best of our knowledge. And on the alien aspect, this is just the easiest term that we have because we don't really know for sure, but this term is pretty close. At present, we consider most of these beings to be advanced biological, AI, or manufactured beings. Lastly, I can tell you from my own experience while on duty, these are real. I can tell you this because I was present on 2 occasions where these craft were above our base watching us. I wasn't read into this program. I can only tell you I was there on 2 occasions, kind of happenstance, and they are as real as the nose on your face. Comments. Due to these persistent questions in response to my post, how am I able to talk about these things openly, including the project name and so forth? Also, why don't I come forward as well and prove it type of questions? Question on transmedium and multidimensional and so forth. Transmedium and interdimensional craft. This question keeps repeating, so let me explain transmedium craft and interdimensional very, very basically and briefly. Transmedium means that they can operate in space, Earth gravity, Earth atmosphere, and underwater without any problem. Space, which is a vacuum and exposed to very hot and very cold temperatures, depending on where the sun is, as well as very high levels of radiation and also subject to collision with high-speed meteoroids and space debris when in Earth orbit. That covers space. The non-humans also can operate in the atmosphere without interacting with it. We determine this because the speed these objects are moving relatively is generously thousands of miles per hour, yet we see no friction coefficient that we would expect from the air compression. Quick example, hold your hand out the window of the car at highway speed. You will experience friction pushing your hand around. Now, imagine your car going thousands of miles an hour instead of 70 miles an hour. That would normally create so much friction that a fireball would form at your fingertips. This doesn't happen. So the craft are observed inside our atmosphere, but they don't interact with it. These craft clearly have their own gravity field because they can instantly accelerate, stop, make a 90-degree turn without any inertial effect. If gravity inertia were to be having an effect, the craft itself would tear apart, and the occupants would be dead far earlier than that. We have seen these craft go straight down from the upper atmosphere right into the ocean with no problem. So they seem to be phased out of our physical dimension in some way because they don't immediately crash or explode doing this. Comments. Furthermore, they then proceed to move at unbelievably high speed under the water, which is far more dense than atmosphere. Lastly, there are no discernible flight control surfaces on these craft, which are typically, but not in all cases, either a disc shape, a cube shape, or a sphere shape. Finally, touching on the interdimensional aspect, these craft very often just appear out of nowhere. We are not tracking them coming in from outer space and coming down to Earth. They tend to just appear. And the descriptions of what this looks like is so far out there, I will refrain from describing it here and now. There is nothing normal about these craft operationally with the science we currently understand. Perhaps the super secret group working this problem has new and improved physics models based on observation or intelligence, but we are not privy to this in general. This science team has revealed some of the science relative to these observations, but many questions remain. For the science team reference, go to Dr. Hal Puthoff and Dr. Eric Davis comments on these, and you will need to try many different sources to get to these data. Google and Yahoo search actively filter out these guys' names in a search as part of the cover-up. I am completely serious. Use other means if you want to actually find this data. Comments. Project code name. Let me just relay how the project secrecy works. If that information is revealed by intention or accident, the program immediately is canceled. Changes, names, and often leadership so that it cannot be tracked, or possibly more importantly, cannot be audited. Information that comes out into the public sphere can be referenced without reprisal because I or we are not the ones breaking the secrecy on it. Therefore, what I have done here is compile some information to help corroborate Grush's testimony. I am in a place where I just have more situational awareness of these data than most people, so I am being of service to Grush, my U.S. Air Force brother, and you, the public, trying to digest and absorb the information. My personal intent with this message, I have only two goals here, neither of which benefit me in any way. First is to support Grush, as he needs all the support he can get. Second, to provide some extra information to the public so that you can process this, because what comes next is going to cause some psychological distress to a vast majority of the public. The really big questions have yet to be asked, considered, answered, and then absorbed. Comments. Best to get prepared mentally now, because soon this new reality is going to be forced on you, which will cause psychological distress for many. Just start digesting these simple things now, and it gets much more complex. I have come forward, right here. I am also lending support in other forums for Grush, but that is as far as I can go. I will not risk revealing anything classified. I have kept my own story secret for decades, and that will not change, period. Also, Grush has a level of safety due to his official position on the Congressional Task Force, his reporting this up the chain to the Inspector General and congressional oversight. I have no such protection, and will support as much as I can on the sidelines to protect my family, myself, and my clearance. And believe me, this is a very real threat. Any of you are welcome to trade places with me and risk yourself and your own family. What do I personally gain here? Last, I have nothing to prove. I will not benefit from this in any way. I have no channel and no way to profit from this. My reward is my continued service to the USA, that is the oath I took, and personally to humanity, to prepare you for what truths are coming. Take this seriously and start processing these things now. You don't have a lot of time before the floodgates open and more revelations come out that are even more shocking. So I am only trying to help. I have zero interest in convincing anyone of anything. That would be completely pointless and a waste of time, as you can see in many of the comments below. Feel free to ignore everything. You have free will, but you cannot say that you were not informed to open your mind and prepare yourself. Chris Mellon, the former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence in the Bill Clinton and George W. Bush administrations, on the night of July 25th, 2023, before the House subcommittee hearing, told News Nation, quote, "I have been told that we have recovered technology that did not originate on this earth by officials in the Department of Defense and by former intelligence officials," close quote.